What role do you think he might play this season? Because, listen, you can't get carried away. It's only friendlies. We've seen young players come through before, you know, Charlie Patinos and people like that haven't quite made it, right? But what role, when you look at him, does he have a role to play this season for Arsenal in that first team?
Yeah, because it's about time we challenge on all four fronts. You know, we haven't done that, you know, in Arteta's era so far. So I'm looking at the Carabao Cup. I'd be starting him in that. People might say, oh, you're trying to relieve him of pressure, but start him in the... I think the Carabao Cup is perfect. I grew up on Wenger playing the youth in the Carabao, whether it be Lupoli or Merida or Fabregas coming through. Yeah. We saw a lot of youth back then in the Carabao, and I was excited about the Carabao because of that. I think minutes in that for sure, and take it as it comes in all other competitions. If we're winning the game 3-4-0, then why not see him for 20-25 minutes? But Carabao Cup for me is the competition for him this season.
You said Carabao Cup. What if he can play like that? I'd want to see him come.
Take it easy.
No. Listen, if he can put in performances like that, I want to see him coming off the bench in some Premier League games, not just Carabao Cup.
When we're winning.
Yeah, listen, maybe you're winning. Maybe you need sometimes as well in a tight game.
I want Eze and Rodrigo on.
Yeah, no, listen. We need. Yeah. I hear that, but also, sometimes you got to listen. Lamar, right? He won the Euros. He was 16, and I remember being at that final and thinking, he can't be 16. Now he's playing, right? So I'm not saying Dowman's, of that level. We're not get too carried away, but I think if that's what he can do, there's 2 games now that I've seen this kid come on and do what he's done there. If that's what he can do, to me, it ain't just Carabao Cup and FA Cup cameos. I'd be looking for every now and again to be bringing him on in the Premier League as well. What do they do with him? Because, of course, you don't want to rush. You don't want to rush a player like this. But if he can say, for instance, come off the bench and put in performances like that, and I know this is only a friendly, you can't get carried away. What do Arsenal do? How do they handle this kid this season?
This is a great question because, I've seen Wanyeri at 16 and he's been exceptional. Listen, if on those performances and what you've seen, he's going to play a part at some stage in this season because you cannot deny that. I think Mikel would be the first to say that as well.
I think he's going to get a lot of game time this season.
Yeah, I mean that was a question I was posing earlier to Turkish. Do you think what do you do with him? And Lee, I was saying to him, what do you do with him? How much game time do you give a kid like this? You don't want to burn him out or nothing. But then if he can come on and do what he done today, and he did it the other night, and he looks like the type of player that could come and do that in many different games.
Well, I think 15, 16 years of age, you're not burning out. You're full of energy, man. He's not going to play every week, start every week. Free him up, let him play, man. Do you know what I mean? When he gets the ball, he looks like he's playing the same way in an academy game, in a first-team game. He's just got that no fear, confidence. I think holding him back would be disappointing. I think play him. Play him. See how good he is. I think you've got to let him play. I mean, I know we've spoken about Lamine. He's the benchmark of young players, but Barcelona have just allowed him to play. Spain have just allowed him to play, and it's flowed for him. So I think we should be looking at this as a positive and going, he might save us 50, 60 million in the market.